Good evening, everyone. My name is Shurobhi Korroy. I'm working as a faculty in the Department of Economics, Herombo Chandra College, Kolkata. My heartfelt gratitude to all the organizers for giving me this opportunity of presenting my paper in this auspicious occasion of celebration of International Women's Day. And I will begin by saying Happy International Women's Day to all. Thank you. The title of my presentation is An Endeavor to Analyze the Gender Inequality in India, a Barrier Towards Realizing the Dream of a Viksit Bharat. Introduction. The status of women is manifested in the level of socio-economic development attained by a country, judged on the basis of the parameters like income level, employment, education, health, position, and role of women in decision making within family and society. Gender inequality in India has been evident in education, employment, health, and political representation. As women face significant barriers due to societal norms, poverty, early marriage, and are less likely to join the labor force, earn less compared to men for similar jobs. Gender equality has been a key part for the dream of a Viksit Bharat. With this background, it is crucial and pertinent to analyze the following issues using the recent data. The objective of the study include analyzing the issue of gender inequality in India across the following dimensions: education attainment, economic participation and opportunity, health and survival, political empowerment. Then, to highlight the existing gender gaps and identify the areas where progress has been made in reducing the gender gap, and to suggest the remedies for gender inequality in order to realize the vision of the developed nation. Methodology has made attempt to portray the gender gap existing between male female across the four dimensions and several parameters has been measured in the Global Gender Gap Index, which are education attainment, economic participation and opportunity, health and survival, and political empowerment. Using secondary data like World Development Indicator World Bank, database of Ministry of Law and Justice analysis and presentation has been made. Train analysis and graphical presentation has been made using the MS Excel software. Discussion, analysis, and results. We consider the first dimension, gender inequality in educational attainment. Here we find that India's educational attainment, at least completed primary education of the population, 25 plus years, female and male percentage, if we compare, we will see that clear and distinct visible gender inequality remains in this area. As far as this completion of primary education is concerned, similar pattern of gender inequality exists in completion of lower secondary education percentage and completion of bachelor's education percentage as shown by the graphs. There is a clear and distinct pattern of gender inequality with always the female male performing better than the female throughout the period of our analysis from 2016 to 2022. Now, if I consider here the masters, the population percentage of population completing masters, here I will find that there is a mild gender inequality, but this gender inequality is reducing over time, as has been shown by the gender gap in 2022. Expected years of schooling, graph 5, expected years of schooling for female and male. Here we will find that before the pandemic, the trend has been favoring the female because the female percentage was higher for expected years of schooling before the pandemic, but after that the trend has reversed, maybe because of the impact of covid-19 pandemic of rejoining the school again, so the or the continuation of the schools. So the expected years of school, female was greater earlier, higher earlier. It has reversed after the pandemic. However, the gap is reducing gradually. Now, if we consider the literacy rate of adult, male and female, then we will find again a clear, distinct gender inequality. Male performance being better, literacy rate, male performance has been better than the female performance. But yes, the gap is reducing over time. As far as 2011 percentages are concerned, we find. School enrollment, primary, female, male, here we find that before the pandemic, again the performance of female was better than the male, but after the pandemic, it has reversed. However, this gap is reducing over time. So there are some progress also made as far as education is concerned. Now we consider the second factor, economic participation and opportunity. Here I have considered the various factors like parameters like labor force participation rate for ages 15 to 24 female male percentage and wages and salaried workers. In both these parameters we find that there is a clear pattern of gender inequality where with always consistently the male performance has been better than the female performances. Again, for unemployment, we find that for unemployment, the male performance was always exceeding the female performance till 2018, but after that it has reversed. But for both male and female, it has fallen, which is a positive, showing a positive picture. That unemployment has fallen after the pandemic for or maybe 2018 onwards actually. Both are falling and it is showing a positive picture, and the gender gap is also reduced. Employment to population ratio, again we find a significant gender inequality, gender gap between male and female performances, and male performance is always better here compared to the female counterpart. So this is the picture of the employment and opportunity. Now we come to the gender and health. I have considered the mortality rate under 5 for female and male. Here I can see that the trend is negative. That means, which is a positive thing, that the mortality rate under 5 for male and female both are declining over time, and the gap is also reducing. And again, anemia among the women and children in India for the period 2004 to 2019 is also showing a downward trend for non-pregnant women as well as pregnant women as well as children, and as also the women of the reproductive age. In all these four parameters, we find that the trend has been negative, which is a positive thing. That is, the anemia among the women, nutritional deficiency has been reducing among the children and the women over time. Now, the last parameter, which was the gender inequality in political empowerment. Here, Women's Reservation Bill seeks to reverse one third or 33% of all seats for the Lok Sabha of women, as well as the state legislative assemblies, the women in Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies. It seeks to reserve one third of the seats for them. But during India's parliamentary elections, women had a voter turnout of 65.60%, lower than 67.09% turnout for male, just lower for male. Again, we find some positive things also, like percentage of women contestants and elected over total seats in last 5 general elections in Lok Sabha has been increasing. There is an increase in both contestants and elected in women in percentages. As far as the data from database from Ministry of Law and Justice is concerned, we find, but still the percentages are very low. That it is much below the target to be achieved. In some states, we find the participation of women in legislative assemblies has been very low. Like in Meghalaya in 2018, it was 8.86%, Mizoram, it was only 8.61%, Nagaland 2.56%, Manipur only 4.13%. So there has been low percentage of women participation in politics in some states. So, considering on this phenomena, on this findings, we can observe that economic participation opportunity, there is significant disparity, and there is also in labor force participation, wages, and employment population ratio, and there is a gender gap in low political representation of women also. So there is persistent challenge for women in those areas. There has been improvement reflected in some parameters, like gender gap is gradually narrowing for higher education, like completion of master's degree. There was an improvement in female school employment, literacy rates, etc. In health, also mortality rate has been falling, and anemia among women and children are also falling. These are the findings of the paper, as has been shown by their falling training percentages. But much remains to be done to address the issues remaining. And to address the issue of gender based disparities, UNICEF India 2018-22 country program pledges to prioritize the issues of gender inequality in the areas of health, education, nutrition, wash, that is water, sanitation, hygiene, child safety, social policy, etc. It is essential to invest in and empower females in different areas like education, sports, life skill, etc.
by elevation of value worth of girls, short-term objectives like better educational facilities, decrease anemia, medium-term objectives like preventing child marriage, long-term objectives like gender-based sex selection can be accomplished. And also, it needs the inclusion of men, women both, as well as the mobilization of various societal sectors to change the value placed on girls. Concluding this paper, it is important to realize that progress made over the years is commendable, marked by increased access to education for girls and increasing presence of women in political spheres. But there are still important issues which require attention, like deeper rooted cultural norms, traditional practices, etc., aggravating the gender inequality in various forms. By advocating for women's rights, recognizing the significance of gender inequality, equality, and putting into practice the sensible laws, we can endeavor to build a more just and inclusive society. It is crucial to sustain a strong commitment to gender equality as India develops, acknowledging it as a vital element of social justice and promoting economic growth. By giving women's empowerment first priority and tackling the obstacles they encounter, India may get closer to the goal of a Viksit Bharat to become a prosperous and self reliant country by 2047, a country where gender equality will be a reality for all. Thank you so much and happy International Women's Day.